Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ronin, man. This is going to be the penis episode, and we're here in Virginia Beach, and the boys are here, and everybody's got the day off, and it's going to be another nice day. Body surfing, body womping yesterday on the fucking shore breaks, and it was pretty fun. Got old Steve out there, and got him. You got a wave, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you catch that one. I saw the light come on in your eyes, like, whoa!
Yeah.
You know, had the.
Yeah, when you hit it perfect for the first time, when you've been doing it like 100 times prior, it feels good, yeah.
Right, it's just like you let it just take you, right?
Oh, that's the feeling. Okay.
It's just taking your body, like the power of that wave, if there is power, is just taking you, and you're using that, right? It's kind of similar to what we're talking about today in the penis episode. It's very natural movement. It's something that basically society does not want you to. Society is afraid of men's sexuality, like that, just straight up. It's afraid of women's too, in a different way. But we're never encouraged to. Basically, we're encouraged to fucking hide. Every book is about female sexuality. Every movie is about the beauty of the female body. Every fucking painting, every picture, every song is all about female sexuality. Male sexuality is kind of like, I don't know, just taken for granted, or I think it's like greatly misunderstood. And I think that guys today are pretty messed up. You know, you see the no-fap movement. You see a lot of very strange things happening. And I just want to break it down. And I think this episode can change your life, no matter how old you are. If you're 60 years old, it doesn't fucking matter. Let me just lay it down here for you. Sexuality is very, very simple. I remember when I was thinking about, what was it? They call fetishes. Yeah, fetishes. So people were into different fetishes. And I had different experiences with girls where something would kind of happen, like in the middle of sex, where it kind of just naturally became like a fetish. So whatever there was a fetish, there's like all these fetishes for different things, right? You know, different girls wear like pleated mini skirts, or they'll wear braids, or, you know, the girl wants a handcuffs, or whatever it is, like all these different things that you do. And they kind of just happened naturally. I'm not a fetish guy. I'm not into watching other people. Like, I like to have sex myself. That's it. It's very simple. I like to have sex, basically, you know. And so I let my sexuality run very free. And it saved me from a lot of problems in my life. I think a lot of the problems is because it's bottled up, it's misunderstood, they're totally out of touch with their sexuality. And like I said, nobody encourages you as a man to know about your sexuality or be in touch with it at all. So I remember I was watching this, I thought, fetishes, okay, what are fetishes? So I looked, trying to find a fetish video, and so I rented, they had these like, you would go rent movies in Japan, and then like in the US, there's like the porno theater before the internet. There's like the dirty place, the XXX place, and there was the regular video place. In Japan, it was together, and it wasn't dirty. Everybody would go grab one movie and then grab another movie. Japan was very free about that. It was like the X-rated section had a little curtain so kids couldn't see. But that was it. You just walk through it. And everybody would walk through it. You'd see couples, and everybody would walk in there and get a video. And it wasn't anything unusual to be checking out porn videos. And I remember thinking, that is amazing, because sex is not this big, dirty, crazy thing. I mean, well, that's when criminal stuff starts to happen, is when you bottle it up, right? But when it's just normal, like in Japan, it was just very free. And I remember thinking, like every single person, you just ask any fucking person who lived in Japan, and they're going to tell you that it was better in Japan, because it was very free and natural, you know, and that was cool. I was like, okay, get a point. So anyway, I figured out, okay, I'm going to get a fetish book. I'm going to see because I was afraid of myself, basically. I was afraid that I was going to do something embarrassing, or that I was going to like something that was going to ruin me in society or something, you know. I think a lot of guys have this fear, is we think we better toe the line, because inside of us is some like weird sexuality that's going to, you know, somehow ruin everything in our lives, you know. And so anyway, I got this fetish video. So I thought, well, what am I going to get? So I got a foot fetish video, right? So I thought, okay, this is like, to me, very weird, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this? So anyway, I put the video in, And it starts out super weird, right? It has this guy, he's like a dog on all fours. He's like, and then she's got her shoe in front of him, this girl. She's pretty hot, right? She's definitely a hot girl. And so she's got this like, whatever, high heel, whatever. So he's like kissing and licking her feet, and he's like snorting and all this. And then, I watched the video and I thought, okay, I can't even watch this. It's so stupid. But I thought, okay, I'm just going to watch it just kind of, I started researching sex when I was in college. There was a book called The Height Report on female sexuality, The Height Report on male sexuality. And there was the Masters and Johnson sex reports. I read all of them. And the books were like 2 inches thick. I mean, they were like huge. And I read them over and over and over. And I studied sexuality when I was young. Like I used to with my girlfriends, I would read the books together and we'd reenact stuff. And like when I was like very young, like 15 and 16, I was like really into it. I was like very interested in sexuality when I was young. And I read all these books I read My Secret Garden, the female fantasy book, So I read all these books and I was like, so when that, the foot fetish thing, right? I'm watching it. And of course I'm just kind of turned off because I'm thinking like, this is not sexy and this is like weird. And if anybody saw me, this would be weird. Anyway, so I watched the video. After like a couple of minutes, the guy ends up fucking the girl like normally. Like at the end, this guy is fucking this very hot girl and he blows his wad, whatever. And the video ends. And I thought to myself, I thought this was going to be super weird. It was just the beginning was weird. But the end was exactly the same as every single video you ever see. In fact, the middle was the same. And just the very, very beginning. And I realized that the fetishes, all they are is preparation for the act. That's basically what a fetish is. It's just, of course, there's going to be, there's going to be people in the world who are sick, who are demented. There's obviously murderers. That's why we go to have prisons and things. I'm not talking about that. And I recommend you don't even think about that because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about normal people here. And most people are pretty normal when it comes to sexuality, actually. And the fear that you are abnormal, the fear that you are some weirdo, the fear that deep inside you're is just totally insane. Okay, you're not. Okay, and so I'm talking about normal sexuality. So the fetish was just an introduction to the thing, and I thought to myself, like, who cares? Like the guy licks the shoe, like, who cares? Like so that changed my viewpoint on fetishes because I still never got into fetishes. Like they never been like my thing. But I no longer look at them as weird. Like they're just another guy. And I realized, okay, what is a fetish? A fetish is a way for him to get his dick hard, basically. A man, this is the thing, is your dick will point the way. This is one of my main philosophies in life. So people will say, are you, okay, one of the unusual things about Ronin, man, is there's all kinds of guys listening. A lot of guys in different countries, and there's gay guys, and there's bi guys, and there's tons and tons of straight guys. And I'm talking every single continent listening. And you'll see the comments below. You look up the names, There's just a very, very wide variety of guys there. And why is that? I think it's because this is the exact opposite of what people think about MGTOW. They're like, oh, MGTOW. In the beginning, they said this is a white supremacist movement. And then we had our first MGTOW summit, and half the guys were not white, right? Black and like all different types. And then people were like, I literally think that the first summit, changed the media's narrative of MGTOW. I swear to God, because they were saying that, and then we did videos of the guys. And they agreed to be on camera, and I put a Pastor Pimp and stuff. I put him online. And it was just like, and I asked him, like, he's this black guy, and I'm like, are we white supremacists? He's like, man, what are you talking about? He's like, this is an awesome group of guys. And then, he goes into it, and everybody's just like, it just destroyed the narrative. Because they were trying to think of us as some weird extreme group. And it's like they tried thing after thing after thing, and none of them fit, right? And so when it comes to sexuality, then they said, okay, well, it's got to be homophobic. It's got to be something. I'm going to tell you right now, my philosophy and why you will understand quickly, it's not anti-anything, is you as a man, there's only one thing in human, whatever you call it, existence that is completely honest. And that's a man's penis. It's the only honest thing. You can never fake your penis. It's just, you cannot do it. You cannot fake it. It's just like, it's impossible. Women, by nature of the way their bodies are, it's not, and again, this has nothing to do with people faking, being dishonest. The body, I'm talking about the body. The body is designed basically for things to work no matter what. So if there's a war and they're raped or whatever, their body's going to protect themselves, it's going to lubricate, it's going to make sure that they don't get damaged, they don't get killed. Everything works out. The women's body is kind of designed essentially to fool you in a way. Because, okay, for example, a woman does not know when she's ovulating. And that's one thing some animals, they know. Like the cats get in heat, right? They know they're in heat, right? Women, the women do not know when they're ovulating. That's why they have to take their temperature and check all this stuff. And you'll have people say they can tell, but it's like the weather prediction. They can't. If you do statistically, no woman knows when she's in heat, period. Okay. Her own body is hiding from itself. And the reason, there's probably some evolutionary reason why that is. But another thing is, as pregnancy is 9 months, it's probably because if you're out hunting and you come back, let's say it happened quicker, you might know that she cheated, right? And so I think it protects her from being killed, right? Is the obfuscation? What's it called? The word of hiding. It's like, I can't think of the word. But basically the body hides a lot of things in a woman. And a woman, you can't really tell. And I think even women themselves have difficult time. A lot of women have difficult time knowing their own bodies in a way. I really think so. I really think women have a difficult time. It's something, a challenge that men don't have, because men, it's very simple. If your dick gets hard, that's good. Basically, that's good. And because that's the runway that I'm talking about. Like an airplane has a runway, right? And then it goes off and the airplane flies. If it's the runway, could be some kind of fetish or whatever it is. But again, it's not you, whatever it is that you're thinking or doing as you're getting as the airplane is taken off. It's not you. It's just like, it's a runway. And as you get older, as you change, as you travel, as you learn, actually what turns you on, that kind of runway, will change. So you'll think, oh, I'm this way when you're younger. And then like 5 years later, you'll find yourself never thinking about whatever that was before. New things will turn you on. Different things will turn you on. And I think that one of the, I cannot tell you how important your sexuality is. I cannot tell you. And at the same time, it has no meaning at all. Okay, so let me explain that. So when you stop a natural process in your body, like sexuality, it's one of the least understood, deepest, most emotional, complicated things of a man's body. It's like so fucking deep and complicated. And if you mess that up, things go wrong in your life. Everything, like, it affects a lot of things. It's kind of like if you plug up the exhaust pipe of a car. It's just like the whole thing fucks up just by one cork in there. The whole engine, the whole car just won't run, right? And sexuality is that kind of thing. But if you take out the cork and you let the car run, nothing miraculous happens either. The car just drives normally. So that's your goal with sexuality, is just to drive normally, right? That's all you want to do. It's not like if you listen to this and you really understand it, you're going to have you're going to be magical man up there flying around. You're just going to be a healthy, normal man without a lot of problems, right? The problems come from when you're fucking with that basic mechanism. The thing is that your sexuality, you just have to understand, it's something you'll never understand. It doesn't matter. It's not something to understand really, in a way. It's like, it's just something that's there. It's part of you. So part of your job is to kind of ride that tiger, of your own sexuality, and just make sure that you don't fuck with it. Because when you fuck with it, you basically, I think this is where, like, I can tell you this, the more sex I had with women, the more I was released from a lot of anger, from a lot of frustration, from a lot of self-doubting, from a lot of jealousy, from a lot of judging. I just was released because I just felt good. I felt like life is going to work out. Women are pretty good, and like life is pretty good and things are fine, and I think a lot of guys don't ever get to that point because they never really, maybe because of their own judgment. I'm not even talking about women here. I'm talking about just you yourself, holding yourself back, judging yourself, stopping yourself from having a healthy sexuality. In the end, it like society cannot read your mind. Like nobody, not yet, they can't read your mind. So whatever you think about, it like literally does not matter. It could be the most illegal thing in the world. But whatever is that runway, okay, this is where it always goes to. Here's always the question is like, what if it's illegal? What if, a man can't let himself go because that will be, what if it's illegal? This is the big thing everybody's fucking afraid of. Okay, first thing is never like fucking base your whole life on some crazy exception. You know what I mean? Like, what if my car blows up? What if lightning strikes me when I go to the fucking supermarket? I can't go to the supermarket because lightning might hit me. This is like the kind of thinking I'm talking about here. Like sexuality, like there's this fucking huge fear we have, of ourselves, right? But let's just say the worst case scenario, or let me give you a similar example of how crazy this is if I told you, okay, you need a good night's sleep, right? That's essential for health. So then you said, well, what if there's somebody in my bed and the only way to get them out of my bed is to murder them so I can sleep in my bed? This is the kind of thinking that you're having when you're thinking about it, like letting your sexuality free is going to lead to like murder kind of thing. It's insane. Okay, it's insane. There's nothing scary inside of you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's fucking fine. It's fucking fine. You know what I mean? You're fucking fine. There's nothing to be afraid of. And whatever society has and whatever country you live in, whatever rules they have, okay, fine. You have to follow the rules. Like, there's nothing deep meaning about it, like a stop sign. There's nothing fucking meaningful about it. It's just a law, and you have to decide. Follow that law. You're going to take a risk of getting a ticket. Are you gonna like pay your taxes? Are you gonna stop at the stop sign? Are you gonna go to sleep if there's a curfew, not go outside? What are you gonna do about all these things? That's all your decision. But sexuality is not one of these things. Like, do not let retarded society, which everybody listening to this knows society is not sexually free. It's a fucking mess. Do not let these retards fucking guide your sexuality. Like, just do not let their judgment, their ideas about the way things are. Just think of how fucked up everybody is. And just think about them as a whole, how fucked up it is. This is not the thing you want guiding your sexuality. Like, regardless of anything else, it's not healthy out there. It's not normal out there. Society does not understand. It's not honest. Like, guys on this channel are fucking honest with themselves. Thinking deeply about things. Is society like that? Hell no. Hell no. And so what I'm going to say is basically, if you had something that gets you off and it's illegal, think about this. Because this is a difficult one, I think, for guys. Look at My Secret Garden. Read the book, right? Read the book. It's women's fantasies. Everything in that book is illegal. Either it's illegal to do or it's illegal to be done to you. Like, the whole thing is sexual fantasies of women. Women's sexual fantasies are much crazier than men's. I'll tell you that right now. The women's sexual fantasies are off the fucking charts. They're absolutely way out there. And that is a fucking beautiful thing. Women are different beings than us. They're very different than us, and their sexuality is very different than us, right? They have these like wild fantasies. Read the book and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, they're way crazier than your fantasies. Like, you'll look at them and go, whoa, holy shit. Do girls actually think that? It's like, yeah, they do. Even like that, what was that book written by the girl who was killed in World War II by the Nazis. She wrote her diary. Anne Frank. Her fantasies, just the most normal girl. Like, the fantasies are pretty out there for girls, And Anne Frank, she wrote something about this, and I think she wrote some other stuff that didn't get published. I can't remember, but anyway, she had some pretty crazy fantasies too. Here's this young girl and just having these crazy fantasies. And so the thing is this, is when you accept your sexuality, let your dick get hard, whatever the fuck that is, and go through the motions of whatever it is, if you whatever it is that you want to do, and just let the plane take off like normally, and realize that when you look down, you see your dick is hard. That is a good thing. That is the runway for your sexuality just to run its course. It's like a good night's sleep. You get ready. Some guys, they prepare their bed a certain way. Other guys wear a mask. Some people like turn off all the lights. They switch their phone to get rid of the blue light and all this. Some people drink warm milk. Some guys just go to sleep anywhere. Everybody has a different way of getting ready to go to sleep. But then at the end, you just go to sleep and you have a good night's sleep. You wake up, you feel refreshed, right? And that's how sexuality is. It's that simple. You could technically, like I said, you could have to, you might have this weird. The only place you can sleep is in a bank vault, and you have to shoot everybody at the fucking bank to go in there and say, this is insane. This kind of thinking is insane. It's totally insane. Let it go totally. Your sexuality is normal and natural and healthy. And so just whatever it is in your life, let it flow. And I don't know. I mean, I know for myself when I was younger, I really struggled with this. I would constantly be judging myself, about certain things and it wasn't that I was doing anything that was bad. I was afraid that it was going to go down a road, I guess, that I wouldn't be able to control, that I was going to kind of go down a road, and then that was going to be my life. And I would be like taken down a river beyond my swimming abilities, just sucked into a black hole, or, falling off a cliff, where I couldn't go back. I think that was my fear was always there. And that fear never came true, even in the least bit. And in fact, the opposite is true, because the more I find myself just being natural and just being myself, the more I just don't really understand guys that are all fucked up about sex, because it's that road can get so dark. It maybe is for you, it gets very dark where it's hiding and just weirdness. Just fuck all that weirdness, man. Let it flow. Just be natural. Just remember, your dick gets hard, you come, you do some stuff, whatever it is, you come, and then you just go on with your life. It's not that deep. It's a very simple thing. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you just want to do sex quickly or anything, because some days things will just be dragged out for whatever reason. It'll be a Sunday afternoon. It's sunny. You have a pretty girl, and you guys are just grooving that day, and somehow it just ends up being a full day of fucking, and she turns you on, you fuck her 5 times, and you guys are laughing, taking showers, and eating, and whatever, you put some fucking food on her, whatever the fuck. It just ends up being one of those days. And in your lifetime, you'll have some days like that are just these kind of long, drawn out things, and other days that they're going to be, there'll be a quickie, or it'll be whatever. But again, it's there's nothing, you just have to go with it. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think a lot of women will judge you and say, well, you're too fast, you're too this, you're too that. It just doesn't matter, because here's the thing, is when it comes to good sex, who is the key person in good sex? The man or the woman?
Female.
The man.
The man. 100%. No, but that's good you said it, because the man is the key. Because when the man is you can't fake the man, right? The man has to be there, right? He's got to be able to do stuff, right? So the woman, she can just be there. And with the woman, she can kind of, I think with women, it's not that they're faking, it's that when they start, they always think they're not going to be in the mood. And then they get in the mood, right? In the middle, right? So with the man, it's he's got to be ready, kind of thing, right? The man is more, I know for myself, when I am on, sex is good. And when I'm off, there's nothing you can do to fix it. If I'm not into the girl Yeah, like I had one girl. She was just like not my type, and we had sex. Like I think the first time was fine, but the second time I could just feel it wasn't right. And in the middle of sex, I just said, "Baby, this is not going to work." We were actually having sex, but I just said, and she was super sweet. Actually, she started crying, and I was just like, I just knew, I could see the future. There's just no way it was going to work with her. It wasn't going to be good. It wasn't going to possibly work, you know. Whereas other girls, and here's what frees you as a man is you think, okay, a lot of guys will tell you, and this is one thing I don't like about pickup guys, is a lot of pickup stuff. They'll say there's 9s and 10s and there's this and that and this and that. This does not fit with my philosophy. It's dick hard or not hard. That's the philosophy, right? So some girls will get your dick hard, and that is a good fucking girl for you. And other girls will not get your dick hard, and that girl is no good for you, right? So that's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Nothing else. Like the other stuff. When it comes to sexuality, it just doesn't matter. You know, if you have a girl who really turns you on, and other guys think she's a fucking 2 or whatever, and she turns you on like long term, it's kind of like getting a bargain, getting a jacket at the fucking thrift store for $2. That's actually your favorite jacket. You don't really care what people think about it. You know, you're like, this is my fucking favorite jacket or my favorite pair of shoes. You know, it's like, it's fine. You know, so it's like, it's why do you have to compete and buy like $200 boots just because everybody else says they're the best boots? It's like, who gives a fuck? You don't give a fuck, right? Why do you give a fuck with women? And why would you want to wear $200 boots when you walk down a crime-ridden street at night in Venezuela? Like, why would you do that? You're just going to get them robbed. Someone's going to beat you up. You know, you go to prison with some expensive clothes. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, so with hot girls, I mean, if that's what is your thing, then that's fine. But there's definitely benefit in not having the same taste as everybody else and trying to be like everybody else and basically bidding for that woman. And I think that's what Instagram is all the guys thinking they have to be the same. They're like all bidding on this one girl, like she's the one, she's the hottest, you know. It's like, but I think you'll know that some things don't turn you on that turn other guys on. And so you know that, but you still don't think you can choose. Like I had a lot of girls that were average, that were really fucking hot, you know. And like, I remember one girl, she said to me, she was trying to shame me. She looked at some of my old girlfriends. Now, she didn't see very many of them, actually, but she just saw a few, and she said, oh, they're not that hot. And she was like super like disappointed or something. Now, I didn't tell her that I fucked like tons of models and TV. I don't need to do that with her. I just looked at her and I thought, what a bitch. Like I thought, wow, this is such a mean person I'm dealing with right here. You know, it's a mean person who doesn't even understand sexuality, because it's not about what other people think. You know, it's about what you think and what your body, even more than think. It's not even what you think. It's your body's reaction. So what you think doesn't really matter, right? You think she's your girl, but she's not, right? You look at your body. Your body will tell you. And it's a complicated thing. But if it works, if it's good, if it's hot, then that's all you need. That's it. It's the end. And it doesn't even matter. And you don't even need to think about it. There's nothing to think about except for just look down, dick hard, good, done. You know, good girl, you know, that's fucking it, you know? So release yourself from all this idea is all these words that society uses. Release yourself from having to compete with other guys, because what you like is going to be probably pretty unusual or unique. And I think the more women I had, the more I appreciated. I could see women. Like I can look at a woman, like say I go to Starbucks or whatever, and I can tell you a lot about that woman. Like we could go out right now today and I could just look at women and tell you a fuck ton about them. Just because I've been with so many women, I can look at them. And this is why women come to me for advice. Like a lot of women ask me for advice, because I can just look and they tell me a couple things, or I look how they're dressed, and I can sense where they're coming from. Like I can read them, you know, and the better you get at reading people, the better you're going to get at knowing what's going to make your dick hard too. Because the more clueless you are, if you don't know what she is, you know, what she's going to be like with you, then it's like really hard to know, right? Before you make a commitment to go with her, right? So I would say that you want to get more in touch with this thing, this complicated storm of sexuality inside of yourself that women do not need to do. This is a man's thing. This is women, they don't need to do it because their women's sexual job essentially is to kind of just be there and then respond to whatever it is and kind of like the volume knob, their sexuality, right? Ours is a light switch. We need to find out what it is that turns on that light switch, right? And of course, you could be out of the mood and some girl could turn you on. And this is not a perfect analogy. You know, it's like sometimes you're not in the mood and then the girl's like horny or whatever. And you're like, I'm not in the mood. And then after like a few minutes, you're like totally in the mood, right? So guys can totally change too. And you could think you're not in the mood, you think you're in the mood and you could change. But basically, I think take your sexuality seriously. Find a way to do the simple things you need to do to be healthy. Stop competing for things that don't matter to you and stop worrying about what other people think about your sexuality. Because if you listen to this episode and you start thinking guys' asses look good, I mean, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it doesn't fucking matter. I'm saying it's a small part of your life. Make sure that you are healthy. Make sure that you sleep at night. Make sure you drink enough water. Make sure that you sexually don't fuck with this beast. This beast inside yourself is very dangerous. You want to this is what if you look at war and fights and violence, a lot of it comes from, I think it's pretty obvious. It comes from bottled up sexuality, confused sexuality, anger. You know, that's why you have like a lot of this stuff. You can see it in life. The happier you are, the more satisfied you are, the less likely you are to get in fights, the less likely you are to be all fucked up about people, the more you're likely to accept your friends, to respect people and just respect yourself, right? So just take this advice. Don't take my advice. Just look at your own penis. That's it. That will tell you everything you need to know. And don't judge yourself. I guess that's it. It's simple. You know, it's very, very simple. So whatever it is that you're into now, you might not be tomorrow, and use this as a tool for measuring what you should be doing in the future. Like there's all this weird sexual advice that's going to come at you in your life. And just realize it's just, I don't know, it's interesting, I guess, that everybody talks about all this stuff, but it's not that important. Like sleep is not that important. It's very important. If you don't sleep, you're going to be all fucked up, right? And you're going to be completely fucked up. Same with sexuality. It's the same kind of thing. It's like one of these deep, deep, important, key, integral things. And you as a man are the key part of this. And when you, I guess here's the winner on this. When you truly accept yourself, okay, and when you learn how to, allow yourself to be that runway, to not be afraid of whatever it is that takes you to finish whatever it is that you need to do. Women know more about you than you think. Okay, this is the thing that a lot of MGTOW guys don't understand, is when you're with a woman, she knows a fuck ton about you. She doesn't tell you. She knows your insecurities. She knows everything, the way you take your clothes off, when you have sex. She knows a fuck ton about you that she's not going to tell you. Okay, women don't have that. So imagine that you're interviewing somebody. Okay, you work at Goldman Sachs and you're interviewing a new guy and he's very nervous. He's like, he wants to work Goldman Sachs so bad. You've been there for 20 years. You're very confident. You're a director. Who is more like with it in that interview?
Goldman Sachs guy.
Of course. He's totally confident. He's like just interviewing this guy. He's got nothing and he's already confident in his career. He's like, fine. And the other guy he's just like so nervous and worried about impressing and trying to get in, and that's how men and women are in bed. Women are the Goldman Sachs guy. They're nothing to prove. They're just sitting there, and you're the guy trying to like sell yourself to them, right? And so women are sitting there and they know a fuck ton about you, right? So forget over the idea that you're hiding anything. You're not hiding anything. But when you accept yourself, when you're comfortable with yourself, when you really integrate this idea, and I'm not sure I'm really fucking putting it out there like I was thinking this episode could be. Anyway, it's good enough. If you're following that inner, I don't know, like riding that tiger of your own sexuality, okay? If you're riding that beast, if you're like taming that dream, sexuality is more like a dream in the middle of the night, like this weird thing that's not, things are unrelated, and all of a sudden there's a dog that is talking, and there's people that are there but you don't know who they are, and there's this house which looks like this but actually it's another house, or it's not a house, it's actually a cave in your mind. That's a dream, right? That's how your sexuality is. It's that same kind of thing. So once you accept yourself in that way, then what will happen is the women, the Goldman Sachs guy, they immediately know this guy is comfortable with himself. So it's not about some kind of weird, like some kind of performance that you have to do for her. It's just like the Goldman Sachs. You're interviewing the guy and he's like totally confident. He's like completely confident. And he's like, I can, and he's telling you, and you're like, you just sense this guy's the guy for us, like he doesn't have the experience yet, but he's just got it, like he's just somehow got it. Like I did when I interviewed for investment banking real estate, I got all ready for the interview because I had no experience at all in real estate. I had nothing. I was a headhunter, and I got this interview. I went in there and I said to the guy, I took out a map of Tokyo and I said, look at all these warehouses here. All these warehouses along the Tokyo Bay are out of date. This was an era, the 70s and 80s, when Japan was an export power. Today, it's not so much that. This should be more like Sydney, where it's like people come, tourism. I propose to totally revamp the whole downtown Tokyo, like basically buy up these properties, put a walkway, completely, take these like dilapidated and increase the value. And I went into this whole thing, and it was kind of like city planning. And we ended, and then he said, you got the job. And then he said, but that idea will never work. So the idea was totally wrong. He said, that's not what we're doing at all here. We're selling building. He explained what they were actually doing. But the fact that I had this like plan is like he could see that I was completely like thinking on my own and confident. I wasn't trying to kiss his ass. I wasn't trying to tell him what he wanted to hear. Like I just went in there really innocent, but actually my ideas were right. It's just that they won't work in real life because people won't sell the property. It's very difficult to, like, ownership is weird, and it's just, people don't change, and real estate's one of these things that takes like 100 years to change shit, right? Unless you're a communist government, where you can just change it, Like any kind of democracy, it's completely fucked when it comes to real estate. You can't change shit, It's just the way it is, and you got to live with it, Even changing the law on one small little fucking detail is difficult, right? But so I think that's the thing. But I had this confidence. That I was thinking deeply about real estate. I was thinking about value. I had my own vision, even though that vision was completely wrong. The confidence in this young guy who wanted to change the world through real estate and actually gave a fuck about real estate and presented something. It was refreshing, and it was something that he was just like, you're in. And that was it. And that was that changed my life. I mean, that was a great opportunity because I got to talk to all kinds of people through that. But what I'm saying is, you as a man, when you have that confidence, when you have that ease with yourself, when you feel like you realize that, for example, let's say that you're with a woman. Okay, you're using all my ideas. I'm not saying your dick's going to get hard with every woman. That's the problem. See? Because you're following it. You're following your body. You're not making your body do something. So what people will say is, I tried what he said and my dick did not get hard. Okay, this is a fantastic revelation because what you're doing is you're realizing that what you're doing isn't working. See, is that you're not listening to your dick. So you're trying to make your dick do something. Like you're trying to get a dog to talk. And the dog cannot talk. The dog barks, right? You can try to teach the dog to talk all you want, but the dog is just going to bark and growl. The dog can do certain things. And it can yip and do these different things. It cannot use the internet, right? And so you're trying to get, you're not getting the concept. Is that you, have nothing to prove. Okay, you are the master of your destiny. There's nothing the girl could say that would destroy you, because if she is not the right one for you, if it's not the right situation for you, then you just found one of the things doesn't work, right? You know what I mean? Like you're just getting in touch with yourself. It's the guy's desire. The reason why guys' sexuality doesn't work, the reason why guys get fucked up is because they're trying to make themselves do something that's impossible. Why does Viagra exist? Why did these things exist? It's because society, men and women, are together. They should not be together. And they can't, the guy's dick doesn't get hard. Right? The reason why his penis doesn't get hard is because it's totally wrong. The situation is wrong. He didn't follow that. And so when you don't follow your sexuality, you're going to create a lot of new problems for yourself. Why does the girl cheat on you? Why? She cheats on you because you're in the wrong relationship. It's your fault. You shouldn't even be there. She's not the right girl for you. It's not right. It's not working. I'm not saying marriage. I'm just saying being with anybody. Like you have a response. If you don't follow this advice and you're not comfortable with yourself, the price is high. Price is very high. She will just grind you into the ground. Women can really make you feel bad, But if you realize that it's not the right woman for you, and there's another woman who, and trust me on this one, there is a chick out there who your dick is going to be so hard, it's going to feel like blue steel with, right? And so why are you sitting there? Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, what are you thinking? It's nothing about the girl. It's about yourself. It's not the right situation for you. So if you, I was going to go into something here with couples, but basically most couples should not be together because it doesn't work. Just leave, man. Just fucking leave. Go on your journey. Go find things that make you happy. Don't fucking try to get yourself, don't take Viagra like crazy and just fucking try to make it work with girls. It's not right. There's nothing wrong with you. You're a normal sexual guy. If things are not turning you on, it's because, it could be because of diabetes or something. You're not keeping your body healthy. It could be that. But it's because you're not listening to this advice. You're not listening to the fact that it's not going to always work with everybody. That's why I'm saying it's such a gem when it does work. That's why the thing about the runway and the fetishes and doesn't matter thing is so important, because that is a rare thing. It's not everything turns you on, right? So you have to like slow down, right? And let yourself realize that most things are not right for you in this life, And when you find something, the last thing you should do is say, here's what guys do. They finally find something that makes their dick hard. And they're like, oh, not that. Oh, not that. No, not that. No, that one I can't do. I'll find something else that will get my dick hard. Well, good fucking luck, buddy. Good fucking luck. Because you're ignoring the thing that works right now. So you don't have to, there's no deep fucking meaning here. It's just a fucking runway to the fucking like flight, It's like, there's no fucking, this is not you. This is like whatever it is at the time that just makes you feel like this, And then it'll change, right? Like for a while there, I had like some pink handcuffs for the girls. And like, that just totally turned me on to see them wearing these things, I was just like, And then, I don't know, one day I just looked at them and never used them again, Yeah, I totally lost interest, And that's how it is with sexuality. It just changes. It just, boom, gone. No longer does it turn me on. Like handcuffs on girls doesn't mean shit to me, And maybe there's some girl in some situation that would work, but your sexuality will change. So let it change. And then stop trying to treat your dick like a computer or something. You know, your dick is not a computer. Your sexuality is very complex. You know, if you've never experienced something that got your dick hard, you're not looking. I mean, you're not fucking looking. You know, start on something like Pornhub. Start looking at different videos that you don't usually look at. Find something works. There's nothing fucking wrong with you, man. You're fucking fine. you're fucking fine. Find things that turn you on. And when you get in touch with yourself, the world will know. It's very rare that a man knows who he is and is comfortable with himself. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Women trust you more. I mean, everybody trusts you more. Because there's a sense that you're not this edgy, fucked up guy. You know, kids like people that are relaxed. Companies like, you like confident people. This is how you become a confident guy. You take away, it's not that sex gives you confidence. It's that being fucked up takes away confidence. That's the thing. Fucked up fucks up everything. So do not let yourself go down that road. It's not that the other way is heaven. That's not what I'm saying. It's just the other way is really bad. And in many ways, you probably are that way now. You're not allowing yourself to be free. And the more free I get, the more I talk to women, and it doesn't matter that much. Like I said one time, and the things I'm saying are like, this is actually what I'm doing. Like I remember one time I made an episode and I talked about, I had this one girl, she was a super cool girl. For some reason, she fucking wanted me to wear makeup. She really wanted me to fucking wear makeup. And she's always trying to get me to wear makeup. And she was a totally cool chick. She was not trying to trick me or anything. But I never let her do it just because I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it for whatever reason. And I just didn't do it. But I remember somebody said, "Oh, you talked about it, so that means you did." See, this is the thing here. So many guys are lying and hypocritical that when you mention anything about anything sexual, there are people that are lying to themselves who will think that you're lying to yourself. Okay, so people are going to misjudge you. They're going to misread you when you get honest with your sexuality. Just like somebody could with this episode. They would think, oh, he's hinting this. I'm not hinting shit. Okay, I'm saying to be honest with yourself, right? And the thing is other guys, they will come to conclusions about you. But again, you just have to think of the boot example. If you have your favorite boots, do you really give a fuck what other people think about those? You do not give a flying fuck. You're like, these are my best boots. Fucking love these things. Got them for $2. They're fucking awesome, And that's the way it is. And that's the way it is with sexuality. You got your fucking boots. You don't care. And in the end, what do these fucking morons that are generally super fucked up about sex really matter? You know what I mean? What difference do they make in your life? What difference is one girl? Okay, look, here's the thing. Women are fucked up too. So let's say you're with a woman and you're not turned on, right? She might go and tell other girls blah, 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 blah about you. But see, the other girls, they're smart. They know she had a part in it. They're not stupid. Girls are not stupid. Like a girl will say, oh, that guy couldn't get it up. That guy couldn't get it up. That guy couldn't. And the girls are thinking,
That's kind of your fault.
Yeah, exactly. The other girls are like, my fucking boyfriend railed the shit out of me last night, And it's like, and they start realizing, oh, okay. She's never talking about getting railed by some guy. She's never talking about just getting worked over, and having the big orgasm. She never has that. The reason why is it's her, right? She's not, something's wrong with this picture. So don't worry about what girls talk about you. Don't worry about what guys talk about you, because it literally doesn't matter, because the truth comes out in the end. And the more healthy you are, the more natural you are, the more in touch with your body you are, the better sex is going to be. And in the end, people will find out. It's going to be obvious. You can see it on the girl's face that you're with. She's happy. You're happy. Everybody's satisfied. You can tell. Go look at couples. You can tell. It's pretty obvious. Sexually happy couples, sexually happy people, together, right? So I don't know. Maybe I went on too long. Maybe I'll re-record this. I don't know. But I'm trying to impart a very deep thing that I learned. And I learned it from being with a lot of women. And I don't think I would have learned it if it wasn't for a lot of women. I needed a lot of women because all those women had different viewpoints. They had different experiences. Some of them had been damaged in the past. Some of them were very young. Some of them were very super healthy. Some of them were athletic. Some of them were very afraid. Some of them were very timid. Some of them were older. Some of them, there was all these different women with different fantasies and stuff. And I had to deal with them. I was trying to find a way to turn them on, and I was trying to find a way to figure things out, my own sexuality out. And what I learned through all that was that I'm okay. I'm okay. And in the end, it's not that I don't care what they think. I think part of sexuality is actually caring about people. You actually notice them and you see subtle changes in their face and things, their eyes, and you can sense that and you can go into that, right? But that's because you're in the moment, right? Being in the moment. But if a woman is fucked up, okay, let's say she smells like cigarettes. Let's say she smells like booze. Let's say she's sweating booze and she's really hot. She looks hot on the outside. But when you're with her and you smell under her arms and everything, and you smell booze coming out of her pores and smoke, you, for myself, I'm going to be very turned off. Like, I'm just not into that at all, right? And maybe the guys judging you and the people judging you didn't smell her underarms. They don't know as much about her as you know. Like if you just see her far away, like on TV or whatever, you might think she's really hot. But then when you actually get with her, you'll realize it's a totally different thing. And there could be another woman who doesn't look so hot, but when you get with her, you realize like, whoa, this chick is like supernatural. And there's something very attractive about that. She's very non-judgmental. She just flows with it, I'm going to end on this. One of my favorite girls of all time, whenever we started to, she was very young, she was 22. Whenever I started to touch her before sex, kiss her and all that, she was very cold, always very cold. And she would just sit there, like very cold. And it took me a while to warm her up. And I remember at the beginning, it was very strange to me. And I remember thinking, like, this girl's so cold, And then I realized something. All of a sudden, it dawned on me, it took about 6 months to realize this. But after a while, I realized this girl was just the only honest woman, one of the few honest women I've ever been with. She would never fake an ooh or an ah or anything. She was just like a total truth teller, this woman. She would just sit there until she was actually turned on. And then when she was turned on, she was fucking turned on. And the reason why I was able to turn her on is because she gave me honest responses to everything I did. So the other girls, what they'll do, women fake orgasm, right? And that is a big mistake for them because this is what causes all the problems. If I lie to you, if I tell you I have a lot of money, and then I tell the girl I have a lot of money, this and that, I marry her, and she finds out I don't have any money, it's like it creates a lot of problems for me and her, right? When a woman lies to you about her sexuality, she's not doing herself any favors. She's not lying. Because all she's doing is attracting the wrong partner. But this girl's honesty, and maybe she was a little bit slow. This girl had a volume knob very slow. Maybe because she was young. It took a while to warm her up. But I learned to really appreciate her because she never lied. She wasn't doing it on purpose. She just never lied. Her eyes never lied. Her mouth never lied. Her body never lied. It was totally honest. And I knew. And so that's how I was able to give her. She's the girl that had the full body orgasms where I almost had to take her to the hospital because she was locked onto my dick. I couldn't get her off. It was like she was locked for like 20 minutes. And just in this spasm where she was like foaming, her eyes it was like just like white fucking foam coming out of her fucking box. It was insane. She went into this total fucking insane thing. And I'd never seen it. I'd never seen a full body orgasm before. But it's almost like The Exorcist. That's where The Exorcist came from, I think, the movie. Is a girl like this. it's a very intense thing if you've ever experienced it. And it's something they cannot fake. Like their asshole is opening up and closing, like they're like just in spasms. Like it's the weirdest thing. But the reason why I was able to bring her to that, well, one, because I did care about her a lot, was one thing. Two, she turned me on naturally. She turned me on a lot. But the fact that she never lied, so I would try all these things with her, right? Here's what most girls will do. You'll do something, the girl will lie to you and say it feels good, and then afterwards she'll tell her friends you're no good in bed. That's how it usually works. But this girl would never do that. So I would try something, and she would just look at me like, And then my first impression was like, damn, like, yeah, I just tried something with her and it didn't work at all. It works for all the other girls. But she was like, and then I realized like, oh my God, this is like a gift to me, this girl. She's such a gift because I would keep trying things, keep thinking of things, doing different things. And finally I was able to unlock, her sexuality. So I think that she taught me a lot about sexuality, that girl. And I think with a man, you need to release that kind of nervousness, that kind of judgment, and in a sense that you start to unlock what it is what really turns you on at the moment. Sometimes it's very simple, but sometimes I think that there's a deeper level of honesty with yourself. There is a deeper level. Sex, there's always a deeper level. So at the same time, it's like dick hard is good, but sometimes, especially if you're younger, your dick can lie because you might get turned on by almost anything, right? And as you get older, it gets more where you need to be in touch with yourself. So if you're a young man, you might think, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I'm young. But actually it applies to you even more because unless you die, you will get older. And the sooner, like skateboarding, the earlier you learn skateboarding, the better. You're never going to be good if you start skateboarding at 50, right? You have to start skateboarding when you're young if you want to be good, if you want to not fall and break your arm all the time, right? You got to learn how to fall. You got to learn how to ride. You got to learn how to balance. You got to learn how to not be afraid. You got to learn how, all these things, right? Same thing with sex. If you wait until you're old to get in touch with your sexuality, good luck. You're much better off starting young, starting early, because what'll happen is if you lie to yourself, what will happen if you don't get in touch with yourself, what'll happen is people get married to the weirdest people. They get married to whoever they're with for a while, basically, right? And if you don't listen to yourself, you'll find yourself being with some woman who doesn't really turn you on that much, and you're not that into her, but you've been with her now for 2 years now, and now it's time to get married. And now you're 29 instead of 27, and she's older and you're older, and your family knows her, and like all this bullshit happens, and then you end up getting married to this girl. So it's really important. And whether you live together or don't get married ever, that's not the point. Is that you're going to find yourself in a long, sticky situation with somebody who you shouldn't even been with 2 days. She was not the right girl for you, right? She was not the right sexuality for you. I mean, let's face it. Relationship, sex. If the sex is not there, and girls will say, oh, guys just think about sex. No. Guys don't just think about sex. But if sex is not there, it's not a romantic relationship. It's like a fundamental thing. You need to have the sex. It's not that the sex is the most important. It's like I said, in some ways it's not important at all. But if it's not there, it's just a friendship, right? Friendships are great, but they're not romantic relationships. They're different, right? You don't have sex with your best friend. He's your friend. So they're very different. And anybody tries to shame you for needing sex in a romantic relationship is just like, they're like a jack-in-the-box fool. They're the jester of the court. They're not understanding their own sexuality. You don't even need to get angry because they're a fool. They're a total idiot. It's just like, just treat them as such. Just say, oh, thank you. See you later. It's like, there's no need to argue with fools. There's just no need. If you argue with fools, you're one of them. It's just like, okay, if some homeless guy yells at you, you don't know shit about like your this or that, and you're like, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about, but I'm not going to take this one seriously, right? That's the way you should take it. It's just like some homeless guy yelling, you idiot, You're just like, he doesn't know you. He doesn't know anything about you. You don't even know what he's talking about. Just back away. Don't have problems. Get away. And, and what guys will do is they'll get in a big fight with the guy. It's like, what are you doing? Don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously. You're on your journey. You have your own penis. You're tasked with figuring this life out. So when you see this with yourself and others, life will become very simple. There's no need for any words to describe anything. Just keep yourself in the groove of being in touch in the moment and in touch with your sexuality and comfortable that the truth will come, that good things will happen in time. If you don't fuck this up. If you fuck it up, then all bets are off. All kinds of mistakes can happen. But when you're in touch with yourself, I'll have girls that they just stop turning me on, Maybe they'll turn me on for a long time and they just won't anymore. And then I kind of know it's over, It's like the end of that romantic relationship. And girls will say, if you had sex with her when she's 20 and now she's 30 and you used her, no, you didn't. You're just like her. You're a human being. Every romance novel ends in disaster. Love ends in disaster. Always. That's the point of love. Every love story that women write, it always ends in disaster. Or it doesn't end. Like they'll just go to happily ever after and they won't go to the end because they know it always ends in disaster because love is not a permanent thing. It's like love and sex and it's just like something you ride the wave like a dream. You ride it, you get better at being in touch with yourself, you get better at riding it. And then you find other things in life. You might end up spending your life with a woman. That's possible based on other reasons. Okay, but you know what you're doing. You might have children and you might really care about kids and realize that kids are better off having two parents, right? They're better off having a normal home. They're better off having their father's name, right? So you might do things for other reasons. I'm not saying because the sexuality ends or whatever that you need to do this and this and this. But by being in touch with yourself, you will be able to make wise, again, King Midas. How do you want to live your life, right? King Midas had a lot of good sex, trust me. King Midas had good dick, got hard, and fucked a lot of harlots, in his time, and he knew, right? He had the wisdom. So don't read into this. There's nothing scary. There's nothing to be worried about. Because I think another worry people have is if I am in touch with myself, nothing will ever last. Because I'm always going to lose interest. You will lose interest. And things will not last. But the reason why they won't last is because they're not fucking real anymore. See, you can't make them real by lying. You can't lie to yourself until you die that you're still turned on by your wife when you're not. Because you still are not turned on by her. So there is no other path. There is no other path than being honest with yourself. There just isn't. The only path is to be honest because you can't change reality. So by being honest with yourself, women will appreciate it. Your body will appreciate it. And you have nothing to fear. Life is scary. Life is unsure. You will be judged, but don't judge yourself. Don't ruin your life from the inside. You only have one life. You have to somehow find a way to make peace with your sexuality. You have to find a way to do that. It's very, very important to find a peace where you're comfortable with yourself. You accept yourself, and that's what comes through all this is that you accept yourself. Because in the end, what a lot of guys probably in the back of your mind is, yeah, but the women won't think I'm the hottest guy in the world. Well, yeah. Other people might not think X, Y, Z. This is partly why people lie to themselves. Is because as long as they lie to themselves and say they're doing it wrong, there's this fantasy that girls are going to think they're the hottest guy in the world. Is that you're not going to be the hottest guy in the world. There's only one, right? The hottest guy in the world, You're you. And you're okay. And you're a good guy. and you can have a fantastic life and you can do great things. You know, there's no need for any of this shit. Life is, you know, you have sex with a girl or whatever, you jerk off, whatever, and the next day you're out with your friends, like going up a fucking river, hiking and climbing and laughing and barbecuing, and life just moves on. It just goes on. And there's a lot of other things out there, you know. There's friendship, there's health, there's nature, there's, you know, intellectual study, there's debate, there's many aspects of life, you know, that are just beautiful in life. And no matter what happens in one situation, you just get up the next day and you move on. And that was one good aspect of pickup that I learned, is that you go up to a girl and like the girl could just treat you like shit, but then you walk away and you walk up to somebody else and they can treat you totally differently. Like, it's like amazing. You think you are what that girl treated you like, you know. So you stop approaching girls, you know. You stop trying because you are what they, you know, you're no good. They don't like you. They're not turned on by you because some girl told you that. But then if you just try another girl and another girl, suddenly you'll have one girl who'll act totally differently. So it helps to shatter that idea that you're no good, that you're a certain way. It's not true. Just go and try. You're okay. There's somebody who's going to be stoked on you, you know? And that's whatever you do with that, or wherever you go with that, it doesn't matter. But for some reason, like most guys probably secretly think they're worried about this. They're worried about not getting hard on. They're worried about things not lasting. They're worried about being exposed for some fantasy, you know, but none of that is necessary. Just be comfortable with your own sexuality. Find out what gets you hard at any time in your life. Roll with that. You don't have to tell anybody. It could be totally in your own mind. You know, it could be, it doesn't matter. It's just like you're comfortable with yourself and you realize that it has no deep meaning, but the way that you, I guess, get the deep meaning in life is by kind of being able to somehow ride this dream that is sexuality. You need to find a way to kind of be comfortable with yourself and ride through this very emotional and complicated world of sexuality, because it is quite complicated. Like, sexuality for men is way more complex than people think. It's like super complicated. But you're the only one that knows that. Women don't ever have to understand that. You have to be master of your own destiny and master of your sexuality. Don't let other people judge you. Don't let other people tell you. Don't let other labels label you. You are the master, and you are good. There's nothing wrong with you. Just like there's nothing wrong with the way you eat. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the way you sleep. There's nothing wrong with the way you breathe. There's nothing wrong with your sexuality in the exact same way. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, you have a lot of opportunity, but there's nothing wrong with you. You're just fine. So just go with that and ignore the rest.